Kit, I'm not sure whether we figure out exactly what Parliament would vote for at this point. So what is she trying to compromise on?
I think the sense is she's trying to get enough to be able to get people to say, look, particularly in the Conservative Party, I think she's still focused on her party saying, if you don't come for the best deal I can get off from Europe, what we'll do is we'll lose an election and never see power again. Come on, this is as good as we'll ever get from the EU. I think that's, if I had to guess a game plan, I think it's that.
Okay, Maya?
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that, and all I'd add is to say that I think the closer we get to the deadline, I think the balance of probabilities is shifting quite meaningfully towards an extension. Yep. And I think when we think about it from our standpoint as investors, I think the real impact of Brexit, I think, on portfolios comes through sterling, and actually the outcomes for sterling are quite binary around where we end up. So I think a hard Brexit, albeit very unlikely, probably delivers quite a meaningful weakening, probably to about 1.15, if not lower. Whereas any sort of agreement, be it with an extension or with the current form of the withdrawal treaty, probably leads to some sterling strength back up to 1.40, 1.50. And so that's what we are really grappling with is you've got these two extremes, but you've got this whole range of outcomes within those two extremes, and they have really quite meaningful impacts on how we think about investing money.
But Kit, overall, are we too complacent? Is the market too complacent about a possible no-deal Brexit? We're going down to the wire. Something could happen. It seems like there's, a wide-held belief that there's not going to be a no-deal, but actually, we don't really know. No,
I mean, okay, let's be clear, we don't know. But if you turned around and said, that we would trade comfortably, we would trade above 150 against the dollar if we just cancelled this whole Brexit nonsense, and that we might trade to 120 with no deal, if you took those and said the most likely is we get some kind of extension that gets you to 140, and you say, well, all right, so I'm saying there's not far off, perhaps a 50% chance I go to 140, 50% chance I go to 120, and I'm sitting here at 130, and we just don't know what to do with ourselves. And by the by, we quoted against the dollar, where in fact what it moves against is the euro, and the reality is, the no deal is bad for the euro and the deal is good for the euro. So I can do those in euro dollar as well, and what happens is euro against the dollar in trade weighted terms, the euro sterling rate, which is much the same thing as the trade weighted value of the pound, is trading in a tiny range.